Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a pretty powerful idea from a lecture by Rabbi Elihu Zini. What if the biggest choices we make aren't driven by logic at all? What if, instead, they're powered by a kind of unseen engine, an engine of identity? So to really get this, the source kicks things off with a modern-day puzzle. And honestly, it sets the stage for everything that follows. Here's the core question. Why would someone from, say, France or the US, who has all these comfortable options, places like Canada or Australia, choose to just uproot their entire life and move to Israel? I mean, when you just look at it on paper, the choice seems completely irrational, right? On one side, you have countries offering relative safety and convenience, and on the other, you have a nation grappling with constant dangers and economic difficulties. From a purely logical pros and cons list standpoint, it just doesn't add up. Now, the source is quick to just dismiss the most obvious explanations. It argues that, yeah, while some people might be looking for economic solutions or fleeing persecution, those factors don't really explain the core motivation for the majority. Even the really powerful desire for a safe haven isn't, in this view, the main engine driving this decision. Okay, so if it's not logic, and it's not even fear, what's left? Well, the lecture proposes a single, really powerful answer that gets to the very heart of who we are. The central argument is that this seemingly illogical choice is driven by something the source calls Jewish identity. And we're not just talking about a cultural label here. It's described as this profound internal force, almost a magnetic pull, a connection of love with God that compels you to act in ways that go way beyond any rational calculation. What's really striking is how the rabbi directly takes on how controversial this idea can be. He acknowledges that, yeah, some people would call this a form of racism. But he reframes it, arguing it's an internal matter of the soul, a spiritual distinction that, in his view, is personal and doesn't actually harm anyone. Now, to really wrap our heads around this concept of identity, the source takes us way back, thousands of years, to what it presents as a huge revolutionary shift in how humans think. So before this big shift, the ancient world, we're talking everywhere from Mesopotamia to Greece, basically ran on a belief in fatalism. The idea was your destiny was set in stone by the gods or the stars. If you were born a slave, you were going to die a slave. Reality was seen as this fixed, totally frozen system. The revolution that's attributed to Abraham wasn't just about believing in one God. It was this radical, world-changing idea that nothing is permanent. It was the belief that human beings, through their faith and their actions, could actually change their own destiny and alter the very fabric of reality itself. There's this anecdote from the source that illustrates this clash of worldviews just perfectly. So, during the Roman siege of Jerusalem, a bird lands on the general's table. For the Romans, this is a huge, powerful omen. But the Jewish general who's with them, he just shoots it. His response captures this whole new worldview. Don't be a slave to signs and omens. You can shape your own future. Okay, next up, we see how this idea of changing reality actually builds into a framework for our moral evolution. It's like a journey away from fear and toward a much, much higher motivation. So Rabbi Zini lays out this really clear progression. Humanity starts out by controlling its worst instincts through a ton of different fears. Fear of the sea god, fear of the harvest god. Then monotheism comes along and unifies all of those fears into a single awe of God. But the evolution doesn't stop there. It keeps moving to a higher kind of awe and ultimately to the final stage where our actions are motivated purely by love. And this is a really crucial point, the distinction between two types of awe. The first one is basically a low-level fear of punishment. It's, I won't steal because I don't want to get caught. It's totally self-centered and transactional. But the higher form is this awe of greatness. And that's the understanding that a wrong action isn't just bad because you might get in trouble. It's bad because it fundamentally damages the cosmic order, the very fabric of reality. This brings us to the final unifying concept, and it's a big one. It ties identity, action, and the entire universe together into this single, deeply interconnected system. According to this source, the physical world and the spiritual world aren't two separate things. They are one single, unified reality. And what that means is that every single action, no matter how small or how private, sends ripples throughout the entire system, affecting everything and, well, everyone. This ancient teaching just perfectly captures that idea. Imagine a giant cosmic scale. Every good deed you do doesn't just tip your own personal scale toward merit, it actually helps tip the scale for the entire world. Your individual choices have universal significance. It's a huge idea. And this is where we come full circle. In this view, identity isn't just some passive label you wear. It's an active, world-shaping engine. That seemingly illogical choice to move to a land of conflict, it's framed as way more than just a move. It's an action that is believed to tip the scales of reality itself.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. When we make the most profound decisions in our own lives, what's really in the driver's seat? Is it the cold, hard logic we can calculate on a spreadsheet? Or is it a deeper, unseen engine of identity that we simply inhabit?